Today we have with us Mayur Karthik, a yogi trained by the infamous Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Guruji in the art of living. In today's episode, we'll understand more closely what it means to be a yogi, manage the modern day lifestyle, bust some myths about yoga and meditation, and ultimately understand how to live a fulfilled life. Or in other words, understand the art of living. So sit back, relax, open your ears and mind, and let's get right into the episode. Hello Mayur.
Hi Jitesh.
Welcome to Beyond the Cage with Jitesh Banjan. So we had a lot of questions for you. So first of all, I wanted to know how did you get into yoga?
So before we start, I'd like to thank you for inviting me here. In fact, this is my first podcast, so I'm very excited about it.
Our pleasure.
Honestly speaking, when I was in my school in Tamil Nadu, our school had some or the other yoga programs. When I say yoga, it's not just asanas, I mean like in a meditation program. In fact, our school had everyday morning meditation.
Okay.
So, and my parents were into different types of spiritual practices. So, I was kind of introduced much earlier.
Okay.
And I was in school hostel. I used to do a little bit of asanas and all. But much later, it was in 2009, I think. One of my friend is a musician from Chennai. So, he was organizing an art of living program.
Okay.
So, and that's when he called me and told me, I'm getting this Sudarshan Kriya program organized for a lot of artists. By the way, I'm a filmmaker also. So he said why don't you come attend it? It'll be very good for your creative flow, thought process. And I said okay, I'll come. And I did the program and I really liked it. And that's where I learned, I would say relearned the Surya Namaskars. Okay. And I was quite thrilled about Surya Namaskars, because something I felt can attend to the whole body. Yes. And I was also into bodybuilding that time. Okay. So this kind of fell in place and I started practicing Surya Namaskar along with the Sudarshan Kriya. Then surprisingly what happened was when I started my bodybuilding from BTC Pilani the last year when I was graduating, I was very thin. I was only 56 kgs. So it was kind of creating a complex to me. Everyone were quite fit and I was very thin.
Okay.
So I decided, I will put on weight. One of my friend was into gymming and also. So I tagged along with him. And 3 months from 56, I went on to 74 kgs.
Oh my God.
So eating 5 meals a day, 2.5 hours of workout. And I was only breathing, eating gym.
You were on calorie surplus.
I didn't care about anything. I just need to put on weight.
Okay.
So I really bulked up really big, but muscular bulk up.
Okay.
But for some reason, I was trying to get my 6 packs, but it was not coming at all.
Okay.
So when I learned the Surya Namaskars in this program, and that kind of really kicked me up.
Okay.
So I added Surya Namaskars along with my regular workout. And at one span of time, for 2.5 months, I was regularly doing 108 Surya Namaskars along with my workout. And unintentionally, I got my 6 packs for the first time. I was like, wow, this is something that I did not expect. Yeah. I was quite fit because I was into sports, football and all those things. But Surya Namaskars really got me kicked in. Okay. But having said that, then it stayed in the back. I did not pick up much into yoga, neither teaching yoga nor practicing. It was more limited to just Surya Namaskar and 6 packs. And later in the year 2012, or I don't remember, it was 2011 or 12, the founder of Art of Living, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji. So he saw me and he called me one day. And luckily, I started learning, he started teaching me yoga directly.
Wow.
So I think my stars were really good and so lucky I was to get an opportunity. And as he started teaching, then he put me in different places to start teaching yoga. Okay. So that's when I really stuck on to yoga and I saw the bigger benefits of yoga. Yes, I've heard about it, meditation, yoga and all those things, but it never fascinated me. But because how he guided me and took me step by step, I really saw the deeper aspects of yoga and what it actually can do to a human being. So, and that was in 2012, and since then I have been taking every step towards knowing more about yoga and sharing what I know with a lot of people.
Okay.
That's how it actually started.
So how did you start teaching? Because you're a yoga teacher, and more specifically in technical term, you have a like e-02 500 certification, and you're a level 3 instructor, yoga instructor, correct?
Yeah, so to give a little bit clarity on that, level 3 is the Ayush Ministry has different levels of certification.
Okay.
I'm a level 3 yoga teacher and evaluator. That's a little higher grade of certification. And also that e-RYD is, we have Yoga Alliance Registry of the US. It's like a voluntary registration where you can register, and when you have an X amount of 500 hours of training and X amount of teaching hours, then you get the e-RYT registration. So that simply means that you've been doing it for quite some time. That's it.
Okay.
So like I told you, in college, I always used to think, people who cannot do good, they go into teaching. So they cannot. That's how my thought process was.
Okay.
Like very talented people, they will end up being in the field actually doing it. People who cannot, they go into teaching.
Yeah.
So that's why I always used to think. And finally, I ended up becoming a teacher. So look at the irony.
Yeah.
And like I said, yeah, it was purely because of Gurudev. He told me, told me start teaching, and he put me in positions, places where I had to.
Okay.
And I really realized that, by the grace and the blessings of the divine, I'm just being, not being overconfident, but I was kind of good at it.
Yeah.
So, and I really liked, oh yeah, this is nice. I mean, it's something that was natural to me to share. And slowly, I got onto it. So that's how my teaching started.
So I think a couple of days before, you just told me that you did you taught in ISRO.
Yesterday.
Yes. Yesterday. Okay.
I had a talk, 1 hour talk on, because the International Day of Yoga is coming. Yeah. So they wanted to have...
Something I want to talk about that also. You told me about something about that. Yeah. Please go ahead.
So 2022, this year, Yoga Day is coming. So they were having a 1 hour talk on introduction to yoga and a 1 hour yoga session. Okay. So I had gone there for that. Okay. So it was good. I mean, people need to understand, when the moment people start thinking about yoga, they think they only see people doing posture, some backward bend, some forward bend, some Surya Namaskar, some breathing techniques. But yoga is a lifestyle. And it's, I would say, it's a handbook to live happily.
Yes, true.
So it is backed by thousands and thousands of years of knowledge that has passed on, a tradition that has been flowing over many thousands of years, and the methodology of how to achieve that happy state of mind is through some postures, some breathing techniques, and there's much more. How to act, what to eat, and how to manage your own mind. There's much more than just asanas and breathing techniques. So I think that is what is missing, and that's what got me really kicked, that being a yoga instructor, we can really help people get in touch with their self, their own nature, so that they can live happily.
I think yoga is getting really. I think it's getting popular. Like before, I think it was more popular as an exercise form, but now people are understanding the importance for your mind. I think because yoga is especially yoga is very fascinating for me, and even Punit. So how does it help? Like, we want to know more about that. Like a layman, I know that yoga, like yoga is like a lot of people talk about its benefit and all that, but for a layman like us, it has always been a form of exercise or something. But right now, internet is flooded with people's experience where they just change, especially when you see their behavior. They're very peaceful and all that. And today's world, everyone wants to achieve that peace of mind. So how does that happen? How was your experience over there?
I would take a step back. I think first we need to understand why do we do what we do,
Yes.
right? You ask anybody, okay, whether a person is selling vegetables in the road or is running a big multinational company, why do you do what you do? Or for in your case, like you're a MMA fighter, you train so many people. Why do you do what you do? If you ask this question, ultimately people have one answer: happiness.
True. Very true.
Whatever I'm doing, whoever I'm with, I could be with person A or person B, doesn't matter. I can own something. So I do all that what I want to do because I want to be happy ultimately.
True. Very true.
But if you see human life from when we are born till when we reach the funeral, that bit, we are always in this pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You ask a kid like, when will you be happy? School going kid will say, when I go to college. You ask a college going kid, when you'll be happy? You'll say, once I get a job. You ask someone who's getting a job, when will you be happy? Once I find a dream girl of my life.
Yes.
Then I buy a big house. Then, then after some time, when will you be happy? After I get a kid, the kid has come. Then they say, when the kid goes to school, then I'll be happy. When the kid graduates, I'll be happy. Yeah. So we kind of like, it's so funny that we are constantly in pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
But we are also postponing it.
Yes.
Happiness is something that we are keeping it. Okay, when you go there, then I will get it,
Yes.
So kind of, we have, in this pursuit of happiness, we have forgotten to be, how to be happy this very moment with what is already there.
Yeah.
Right? I think, that's where yoga is a science, or it is just, you can say a techniques or philosophy or just knowledge, whatever you want to call it, of how to bring your mind back to this present moment and live happily.
You just mentioned yoga as a science. I think people are accepting it, and because like I have not done yoga, but I just keep following, and that is like something which because like I'm into MMA, but I actually preach yoga already to all my fighters. But I think you just told, like, people only follow if you do it. So I also want to start it. But how did this acceptance come? Because before anything related to before anyone, like, we had any ancient knowledge, people were looking down to it. But nowadays people are accepting it, and people are understanding that it's yoga as a science, or anything with ancient knowledge, it is as real as like any science. So can you speak about that more?
Well, I think that's the difference between the Orient and the Occident. If you see the West and the East, in the West is first you need to give a proof, then I will believe.
Yes, true.
But here we had something, we start by first believing, and then it comes to our experience.
Correct.
Now, it is so funny that, when we were taught in school that the whole universe is made up of atoms and molecules, we have never seen atoms and molecules.
True, very true.
But we kind of like accepted, yes, it is there. Yes. But when it comes to teaching like yoga, when you say that, we are not just this body, we kind of want to question it. Where is the proof?
Yeah, correct.
So it's very funny that, how easily we pick on to things around us, but we are very questioning about things inside of us. It's good. Yeah. You should question. You should not accept anything blindly. Yeah. The faith that comes by accepting blindly can break any time.
Correct. True.
But that faith that comes by proper understanding and experience will stay forever. It never breaks. Yes. So in that way, it's good. I would say how it is yoga these days is being accepted, which is more of mainstream, which was not mainstream before. Yes, now it is becoming mainstream. It's purely because of the effort of so many masters, so many gurus of our era, like Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji, to take it as an example. I remember he was telling, when he started the Art of Living, though he was teaching the techniques of yoga meditation, he didn't want to call it as a yoga program because there was a prejudice.
Yeah.
So yoga means there will be people standing on one leg with ashes all around the body, doing concussion, lying down on nails. Yeah. People see that and they get scared. I was like, dude, I don't want to be this.
Yeah.
But to bring it to a level or bring it in a way, present it in a way that was easily understandable and easy to integrate in everyday living. If you cannot integrate something in your everyday living, it's pointless, it's useless.
Correct.
I think that is where the masters of this era have brought this ancient wisdom and repackaged it and presenting it in a way so that it can be brought to our everyday living.
Correct.
And brought to an experience where you can live happily.
Yeah.
See, if you notice, in the last 20-30 years with the progress of the electronics and now social media coming in, the human mind has become more complex.
Yes.
See, the problems that was existing 100 years back, it's much more now.
Yes, true.
Right? The human mind has become more complex.
Yes.
It is easily distracted. There's less focus. There is a lot of stress. And there is a want for instant gratification.
Correct.
There is so much that is not letting us be happy. Rather than being happy, we just want more pleasure.
Correct.
And the more pleasure we go behind, it's like, you need more and more to keep you sane.
Yeah.
So we're kind of losing ourselves. That's when I think people have started realizing that, you can't keep going like this forever. Yeah. Somewhere you're going to reach the breaking point. And I think that is where all these, the techniques that have been taught by the modern masters, I think it's becoming more relevant and practical. And so much of research are being conducted these days. That's one important thing, And I think with the current government, they're also pro-yoga. And so they are really making it an in-house thing. It can be done by everyone. And I think especially with the International Day of Yoga coming,
that's what I wanted to talk.
More awareness has come to people that,
Can you tell our viewers, how it started? Because you just told me, right?
Yeah.
Like how it started.
So it was so interesting because that was the year I had come to the ashram, Art of Living International Center. In 2011, there was a big meeting of all the yoga gurus in the ashram. Okay. With Gurudev, Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji. I, in fact, remember seeing BKS Iyengar ji also there, and I've heard about him. That was the first time I saw him. So they all had come together, and they all signed a letter that suggesting to the government that there is World Toilet Day, but we don't have a yoga day for mental peace or yoga day. And that's when under the presence of Gurudev, they all signed this letter and they had given it to the government. And much later in 2014, I think 14-15, the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, I think he took it up to the UN, and finally the International Day of Yoga was announced. The longest day of the year was announced as the Yoga Day. And I would honestly say that, Yoga Day cannot be just one day.
Yeah.
It is every day. Yeah. We can't just be think about being happy and healthy in just one day in a year. It has to be everyday thing. Yeah. And that's how it started. That's what I mentioned was the effort of so many people and so many gurus and so many leaders who really knew the value of this, the ancient science. I think yoga was made more accessible. Now it's more accessible also. Yes. Even if you see, many centuries back, it was very clear, the teachers would not teach everyone.
Yeah.
Only those who come be with them and they seem worthy, they were tested first. Yeah. Can this person take this knowledge? Only then it was given. So it was also not accessible also. Yeah. But now it has become more accessible, even for a common man who is busy in his everyday routine from morning till evening, who has a family. Even this practice is accessible for them. Yeah. I think that is also a big shift that has happened now.
Correct. You're very passionate about yoga. What does that mean to you, basically?
Well, I think I'm passionate about anything I do, not just yoga, whether it is bodybuilding or filmmaking. I think, it's like this. There is a saying in Tamil, once the cat tastes the milk, it keeps coming back to it again and again. Yes. I think once you have experienced how it is to be peaceful, how it is to keep your mind under your control. I often give this example in my classes. If you see a person taking a dog for the walk in the morning, I ask them, who is taking who for a walk?
Yeah.
Is the dog taking the man for the walk, or the man taking the dog for the walk?
Yeah.
Is your mind running your life, or you are running your mind?
Correct.
So I think like somewhere yoga really helps to keep the mind under your control, and it will listen to what you want it to do rather than what it is dictating you to do.
Correct.
So when you taste this joy, when you taste this having a say over your senses, your mind, then I think like you don't need any other inspiration for you to keep coming back.
Yeah, true. So I've gone through your profile, and we know that you're a filmmaker, an actor, a dancer, and a model who walks the ramp. How do you manage to do so many things at once? And also, you're a yoga teacher. How do you manage to do so many things, man?
Well, I think this is the real art of living.
Yeah.
We all want to do a lot of things. I'm sure we look back in our life and see, sometime we wanted to learn to play the guitar, or we want to read a lot of books, we want to learn cooking, we want to learn that extra skill. Yeah. But, we get busy in our needs and wants. And when you come back at the end of the day, you're so drained. All you want to do is just go back to sleep. There's a beautiful definition of Gurudev about stress. It's very nice. What is stress? Stress is too much to do, very little time and no energy. That is stress. Correct. So if you notice, we cannot reduce the amount of work we all have. The more ambitious we get, the more work eventually follows.
Yes.
So we cannot get rid of it.
Yes.
Time is the same for everyone, 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. You can't put any... it's not that you have 26 hours and I have 24 hours. It's only 24 hours a day. Yeah. You can't do much about it. But energy, you can do something about it. You can get your energy up. You can become more efficient. When your energy is up, then we become more efficient. We are able to finish all the work that needs to be done in much lesser time.
Correct.
Right? And what you can do with all the extra time it's left with, you can take up your passion. Right? That one skill, maybe you can learn to play guitar, or you want to get back to your reading, or you want to make videos, films. You can, in the 24 hours, you manage what needs to be done in lesser time, more efficiently. You get more time, then they can do a lot of stuff then. And that's where I think the practices like Sudarshan Kriya, meditation, yoga really helps you to become more efficient, more increases your energy level. And you'll notice most of the time when we are doing something, our mind is not there. Yeah. The mind is constantly caught up with the result of it.
Correct.
So we are not 100% aware when we are doing anything. I would not say for everyone or not all the time, but most of the time for many of us, right? We are sitting and eating food, but we are thinking about when will you come back next and have the same food.
Correct.
Rather than sitting and enjoying the food you are having right now.
Correct.
Right? Because like I told you, the mind is looking for pleasure in the future. It wants to maintain it. Abhi aa rahe hain because abhi to mil gaya hai. You got it.
Correct.
So you're not enjoying it. You're not aware there 100%. So that's why the job that takes 20 minutes for you to finish, it takes 2 hours. Correct. Because your mind is not there. By practice of all these techniques and a little bit of knowledge of yoga, we can train our mind to be in the present moment. See what you do. You train people to master the body. Correct. Right? Correct. So here we train the people to master the mind, because the mind dictates the body.
I think the mind is harder things to do. I personally believe
Of course, even in in your training also, mind is a very important part.
Yes.
I completely agree. But here you have techniques to, really bring the mind under your say.
So, generally as a human, why do we get into that? Why do we usually live in future or past? Because we usually live in our past and we are sad about it, or anxious about the future. Why does that happen? Is there any reason? Why does it happen?
Well, I think that is where you have to come to the happiness program of the Art of Living.
Okay.
It's exactly what I was so amazed. Dude, this person is talking about exactly what we talk about in our course.
Okay.
It's little bit more than just saying it and explaining in 1-2 words. See, there is a nature to certain things. Right? Example, water flows from a higher altitude to a lower altitude.
Correct.
Right? That's how the nature it follows.
Correct.
So the nature of the mind is to keep moving.
Okay.
You understanding what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
I'm
that's
understanding.
how it is. Now, how to tame this untamed horse? Right? That's where, this whole spirituality, that's the difference between spirituality and religion.
Correct.
See, religion is like the peel of the banana.
Okay.
Spirituality is the actual fruit. So these days it's so sad that people hold on to the peel and forget the actual fruit.
Correct.
So spirituality is about like how you connect with yourself,
Correct.
asking that question of like, who am I? Am I just this body? Or am I more to this body? Am I just this mind? Am I just this senses? Or who am I? What is my relationship to myself, to this universe, to this place around me? And that is the core of every religion, if you notice, going back to the source. But unfortunately,
Religion has become
religion has taken a bigger place and we have forgotten about who we are. And those who are truly spiritual, they see every human being as an extension of themselves.
I've heard this a lot, and I think people are not, like, I would not say getting spiritual, but everyone wants to be spiritual nowadays because everyone is understanding. The root cause of the problem is, at the end of the day, it's our own mind, I feel.
Actually, honestly speaking, everyone is spiritual. In fact, like, we are all spiritual beings. We are not separate from it. It's just that we have forgotten it. That's it.
Okay.
It's just that to remind ourselves
Actually
back that
yeah.
Whatever you're looking for is right inside of you. And that's where all these practices brings it. I'm sure you would completely agree with me. You would have had this experience in your training days or when you're training people. When the mind, when the body is like, exhausted, you have finished your session and you just lie down to relax, you feel so much of calmness within you.
Yes, true. Very true.
Right? You feel totally relaxed. At that moment, you're not thinking about any future problems or past happenings.
Correct.
And you feel so relaxed, right?
Yes.
In that space of relaxed state, you don't feel hatred towards people. You don't find fault with yourself. Nothing you do.
Yes.
You're very relaxed.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we don't know how to sustain it.
Yes.
You get up and go back, you get back to it's like, Vikram Betal, it comes back and sits on you.
Yeah. Actually, like when we train, it's a lot of chaos. We move, it's actually, to be very frank, fighting. But at the end, when you do it daily, it's a strange peace over there, because over there you're not thinking, you're not angry, you're just being yourself. I don't know, like in movies they show, right? It's a slow motion, everything is happening in slow motion. It happens to us. So when we, like, for example, we call it as sparring, we fight, right? So when we spar, when you do it daily and you are in that moment, you forget all the problems you're going through. And as you said, after the training is done, we talk for like half an hour, 1 hour, and then we go back to our house. Then again, everything comes back, like Vikram Betal. So I think you're right over here. You're right.
Yeah, that's the thing, whereas the practice of yoga helps you to sustain it.
Okay.
That's the goal. So, there are so many methods. Like, often I say this, when people are stressed, they want to change things so that they can come out of stress.
Correct.
So they go on, like, what do they want to change? They want to change the people around them. Maybe this relationship is causing me stress. Let me find another person. Or you want to change your friend circle. You want to change the people around you. Or you want to change the objects around you. You think, motorbike doesn't give you so much pleasure. Maybe a car will give you more pleasure. So you want or an Android, a simple Nokia phone may not give you pleasure. I want iPhone 13 to give you more pleasure.
Yes.
Apple, Mac, you want, we want to upgrade things, change things around us so that we can be stress-free.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people want to change the job. You want to change the career so that, people want to change the place. Maybe I'll go to a new place and I will be much happier. If they will travel. If nothing works, they wait for the time to change. Maybe my time is not good now. My good time, apna time aayega. Time will come. So in all these things, yes, When you change things, there is a little bit of relief for some time.
Yeah.
But we have not put attention to the one person who is actually going through all these things. When are you going to bring the change here? How much ever it's like, a man who does not know how to row one boat, changing boats is not going to make him a better sailor.
Yeah. True. Very deep.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to first learn to be a good sailor first.
Yeah.
And that is where, I would say, the science of yoga is to forget about outside and just look inside and see what needs to be fixed here, so that irrespective of what happens around you, you are able to keep your calm, able to keep your center. That's what, Lord Krishna says, samatvam yoga uchyate. Means yoga means being equanimous. Yoga is life, whatever you do, something succeeds, something fails. What you like comes to you, what you don't like comes to you.
Okay.
What happens when what you like comes to you? You are elated. Like example, you won a lottery. Then you get so excited, you go on splurging the money.
Correct.
On the other end, someone comes and gives you an insult, or you lost something. Then you get depressed. You get sad. So life becomes aggression or depression. We keep changing in between these two.
Correct.
But yoga says, irrespective of success or failure, what is desirable or not desirable, keep your calm, keep your center. That is yoga. I understand that, yes, it has come from the Hinduism and all, but it doesn't matter which background you are from. It is still, you are able to keep your center irrespective of what is happening around you. You are a yogi.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter what ethnicity, what religious background you come from. It's all about how we live efficiently. That's all. That's why I say, though it has originated from this tradition, it is universal, it is global, it belongs to everyone.
So, I also want to talk about this. You're also an NFT artist, right?
Well, I'm kind of quite interested about this new technology, and I've just started in it. I would not say.
So, have you created any artwork?
Yeah, I started with this interesting thing. What I started doing was, so I get people's pictures.
Okay.
And what I do is I ask them what you want me to change you into. Like example, this friend of mine, he wanted to look like Eric Clapton.
Okay.
But he has curly hair and short hair and beard. And so I literally took him and changed his looks to look like Eric Clapton. This friend of mine, she wanted to look like Luna Lovegood of the Harry Potter.
Okay.
So what I do is basically create avatars, profile pictures, but in a complete new theme. This friend of mine wanted to look like Jhansi Rani.
Okay.
So I just started that because I like anything to do with art.
Okay.
So I just started, but spending a lot of time in front of computer, my eyes started burning. So I had to
Even I'm not a computer guy. I think I agree with you over there.
Yeah, but this is something that I would really like to explore because right from childhood, I have been, sketching art is something that was very natural to me. So I would really like to explore it sometime because it, when I'm painting, I'm totally dissolved, I would say. So I like that space of, creating something. Anything creative, I really love about it. Yeah. So something I would like to do.
So what are your future plans? Get into, you train, you want to continue to do this, or how is it?
I don't have any future plan. My future plan is to be in this present moment happily. That is my future plan.
Yeah.
That's it. And in fact, I'm not even bothered about, I would not say be in the present moment happily also, just be in the present moment.
I think to understand this, we have to do a lot of yoga, I think.
Not necessary. See, everyone is a yogi in their own context. We all have, this is, the truth is yoga is not something that happens on the yoga mat only. It happens every moment. You're helping somebody without thinking about what you will get out of it. You're already a yogi. Right? You're doing your responsibilities 100%, whether it is to your family or to people around you, you're a yogi. You're managing your mind, taking responsibility for emotions, and every moment you're making that attempt to live as a better being, then you're a yogi. You're thinking good about others, then you're a yogi. It's just that these practices help us to make this more effortless.
Okay.
That's where these practices help. It is not creating something new in you, but it is helping you to bring that innate nature which is already in you.
Okay.
Yes, in that sense, doing these practices really helps because this knowledge is there, but knowledge is more or less right now just an information. It has not become wisdom.
Correct. True.
The difference between wisdom and knowledge is just information. Wisdom is when this knowledge integrates in our very thought process, our emotions, and becomes a part of life. And to fill this gap is where these practices really help. Practice like Sudarshan Kriya or some breathing techniques, some asana, some meditation. This all helps to bridge that gap, making that information into wisdom.
So, like someone like a layman, how do you explain meditation? Like, see, the thing is, even I have tried doing meditation, like, going through internet and all that. Like, what is meditation? Like, I've seen people in deep meditation. Whenever I read nowadays, like, like basically you see in Mahabharata and all that, people get into deep meditation. You hear about yogis in Himalaya, they do meditation, I think, for months and months, like Lord Shiva. You hear so much about him. So what is meditation? Can you explain to a person who's like a layman like me, like what is meditation?
See, meditation simply means doing nothing.
Okay.
Recently, I read an article, there's a research. It says that one who spends 20 minutes every day doing nothing becomes more efficient than person who's constantly putting a lot of effort. Now tell me something. What gives you the courage to go really fast in your car? Have you ever thought about it? Because there's a brake.
Yeah.
At any moment, something comes, you can stop.
Yes.
So that gives you the courage to go forward.
Correct.
And meditation is like taking that break. What are we doing in meditation? Doing just relaxing. Meditation simply means relaxation. See, constantly on two realms. One is action, or we can say three realms. We are only putting effort. The mind is constantly going outwards. We are doing a lot of activity, or we're constantly speaking. Or even if you're not doing this both, mind is constantly running.
Correct.
Behind these objects of desire.
Yeah, basically when we meditate, our mind just cannot stop thinking.
Yeah.
Is it like a meditator, it just goes empty? Like how does it feel?
It does. So like that, what we are doing is we are just letting the mind relax. How are we relaxing? Say for a beginner, I would say it's good to start with a guided meditation.
Okay.
Like example, like Gurudev's, there's a YouTube channel exclusively only for meditations. There are a lot of 15 minutes, 20 minute guided meditation, which you can which you can just play and just sit with your eyes closed, do nothing, just follow the instructions. So that will kind of give you an initial control over this uncontrollable mind, what we call as a monkey mind.
Correct.
Right? And there is a way to guide or lead a person through meditation. Eventually, then what happens is once you have learned to bring your mind to some control, then from there it's a downhill task. So eventually you can meditate longer without much instructions. You can sit still. See, like again, everything needs some practice. See, the problem is we have not paid attention to the mind.
Yeah, very true.
Right? And right from childhood, if you see from schools, we have been taught about like how to, we can say things all around us, like physics, about objects, chemistry, mathematics, geography, history, civics, science, economics. We have never taught about the mind.
Yeah, true.
So we don't know how to handle the mind. We don't know how to approach it. And that's where yoga, the spiritual practices, is all about how to get this mind under your control and how to make the mind listen to you. Yeah. So somewhere I would say, though yes, this is a philosophy, what I'm speaking, to start, step one is just get those guided meditations. Learn to sit for 15-20 minutes a day and just follow the instructions effortlessly. then over a period of mind, you will only see after every meditation immediately. It's not that you meditate now after 50 years, after you have retired, you feel calm state of mind. No, you will feel there, then and there. You feel that all those botherations have gone down a lot. So the more you develop a passion for it, a liking for it, then mind starts. See, what does the mind want? It wants some pleasure. It wants to be happy. It wants to feel gratify its needs.
Correct.
So that's where it thinks that if I drink this mango juice now, I will feel more gratified. I'll feel more happier.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? We are training the mind to like being quiet.
Yeah.
Once it starts liking, being quiet is in a beautiful state, it will only tell, come on, let's meditate for some time.
Okay.
Since we have not been introduced to this peace of mind through a method, we don't know how to do it. But initial starting practice of this guided meditations makes the mind to first get a taste. Oh yeah, it's such a good space to be in, to be relaxed and calm, which I've never explored. Okay, let me try it more.
Correct.
So eventually it'll once it starts liking it, it becomes a lot easier, effortless.
Interesting. Yeah. So, like, any advice for the viewers, like people like who wants to get into yoga? Like, nowadays the benefits, like everyone knows, there are a lot of benefits, especially like I would not say like in terms of fitness also, but in terms of mind, because for fitness there are many tools, but for mind there is nothing. I think other than yoga, I'm not sure if there is any second option. So what is advice, like people like who wants to start, like because you got exposed to yoga from a very young age, but there are a lot of people like me, like we have never been exposed to yoga. In fact, my mom does yoga from I think from almost 10-12 years, and I always saw that because Western media, we were influenced by Western media, so I thought it was not a cool thing, and I got into this this fighting and all that. But one day I saw a movie. I follow Hickson Gracie a lot. Hickson Gracie is like one of the legendary fighter, actually. So in this movie, in Hulk, there is a scene where Hulk is like the actor is being slapped by one yoga guy. He's actually Hickson Gracie. So then through Instagram, I came to know that this guy does yoga a lot. Like he only does yoga now. He doesn't do fighting at all. So from there, I came to know, okay, because me being influenced, I am very influenced by Hickson Gracie. So I came to know that, okay, yoga is so crucial. And now there are so many fighters. They have made a yoga as like yoga, or I would say meditation, a part of a program of that. Because see, our like in our sport, we tend to get very aggressive. We need to be aggressive. We need to get aggressive. We need to get things done. But end of the day, we need to calm our mind also, because when we, for example, we get into fight, no matter how much we try to control, the mind is not in control. But the thing is, Hickson Gracie like speaks a lot about this, that through yoga you can actually you can tell your mind what to do. So I think yoga is getting popular in MMA circuit a lot. I think it's getting popular a lot. So like people like us, like what is that one advice which that how to start about it and all that? Someone who has never done yoga, we know, and a lot of people wants to do yoga, but I really think that people are not getting exposed enough. I think yoga day, even I do yoga for one day, but like someone like me, actually, there are a lot of fighters who actually speak to me like, we have to do yoga, but how to get into it, like how to start about it? As you said, on guided meditation.
Yeah. Like, see, of course, you can come to the Art of Living. We have the happiness program. That's the first level, entry level program. We have a Shishi Yoga program. Mm-hmm. So you can start with these entry level programs. We also have this beautiful meditation program called as a Sahaj Samadhi meditation. Okay. It's a mantra meditation. Okay. The mantra is given to you, and you have to keep it as a secret.
Okay.
And, it's only for you. It's exclusively for you. And using that mantra, you can go effortlessly into meditation. So there are these beginner level programs that definitely one can join, learning the Sudarshan Kriya, that can really kickstart you into this journey of yoga.
Okay.
That is one. Having said that, also second thing is like, we cannot run our life based on feelings. Yes. We have to run our life based on commitments.
Yes.
right? So today I will feel great. I want to do yoga 4 hours a day. Next 3 days I don't feel great, so I don't want to do any practice.
True.
So then you will never end up anywhere,
Correct.
right? So if you know something is good, you take the commitment. Yes, I am going to do this. So that's where I would suggest that you start attending any of these beginner level programs, get initiated into it, then take a commitment to do it every day. Then after some time, it doesn't feel like commitment at all. Like I still remember, when I learned my Sudarshan Kriya, initially I was practicing. Then for a couple of months, I stopped the practice. For some reason, there was a lot of work and I was getting lazy. But in the mind, I want to do. I kept on postponing. Then after 2 months or 3 months break, and suddenly one day it just struck to me, like, you know what? Let me start. So I started, and after the first day, after the break of 2-3 months, I realized that what I have been missing. So then after that, I never stopped. Because it is very important, like, see, where mind runs behind it, we have to create that experience once again. See, mind likes to be calm. It likes to be calm. But, if it has not found a taste for it yet, it will go back to its old patterns. Because patterns become too stronger. Habits become too strong.
Correct.
So it requires a certain level of commitment for some amount of time until it becomes a part of you. Once it becomes a part of you, then you don't have to worry about it.
Correct.
So like I said, 2 things: run based on commitment. And second, start with the beginner level program, whether the happiness program of Sudarshan Kriya or Shish Yoga program or Sahaj Samadhi. These 3 programs, any of the things you can start with.
Okay.
Then you will, you need a teacher. That's very important. That's what you will get during these programs. A proper initiation into it. Then you can continue on your own.
So when you are in a meditative moment, like how do you generally, like, like when, for example, I'm doing something, how do you enjoy that? Because you're in a meditative mindset, right?
Well, I think meditation itself means being relaxed and being totally involved in that moment. Example, you're doing a painting, you're 100% with the painting, you're already in meditation.
Correct.
Right? Meditation is not just simply sitting and closing your eyes and not being. Being totally at what you are, what you're doing at that moment itself is meditation. Example, you're cooking, you're totally involved in the cooking. The mind is not thinking about the past, the mind is not thinking about the future, but totally being there. Okay. That is being in the present moment. Correct. That is meditation.
That
itself is meditation. You being totally here, you're in a meditative space.
Living in that moment, particular moment, like painting or like fighting and all that, that is meditative.
Absolutely, that's meditation only.
Okay.
Right? What is happening in that moment? Example, you take a carpenter. So he's thinning the wood for hours and hours and hours. Mind has become totally blank because he has become one with that activity.
Correct.
That's a meditative space. Right? You're composing music. You have become one with the music. You have become the music. There's nothing else. You're in a meditative space. Right?
Correct.
But when the mind starts going here and there, then that is where you're not actually enjoying it. Correct. When you're totally in the moment, when you're in a meditative space, you're 100% enjoying it, in fact.
Correct.
When the mind is not there, that is when we are not enjoying.
Correct.
Right? So I think that is where these practices really help. I would say, in fact, like have a pizza normally, meditate and then go back, immediately have a pizza. The pizza will taste much better. Because your mind is so calm and the senses are more alive.
Yeah.
So you will enjoy, in fact, life much better when you meditate.
Does meditation helps to make your memory good? Does it help?
Absolutely. Imagine, see what we do in our computer hard disk. There's so much of trash.
Yeah.
You remove the trash, then there's a lot of space to put in more stuff, right? Yeah. Same, the mind is so caught up with so much of garbage, emotional garbage, feeling of guilt, feeling of regret, unnecessary information, then it's not fresh.
Correct.
So through meditation, through practice of pranayamas, Sudarshan Kriya, we are able to flush it out of the system.
Correct.
Then we become more new.
So Mayur, What inspires you, man? Like, what inspires you to keep going? Because you're doing so many things. Like, you're a yoga teacher and you do so many things. What inspires you?
Well, I'll give you an example. Sometimes what happens in, like, especially when I go to gym, I don't lift heavy weights now. I used to. 2.5 hours I used to work out. Now it's just 30-40 minutes. Many times I get bored also, for sure. Like how I told you, you cannot run your life based on feelings based on commitment. It comes to me too. I don't feel like I don't want to go to the gym today. Yeah. So something, it goes for like few days and suddenly it clicks. I look at Gurudev, my master, Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji. He's 65. And you know what? He exercises every day. He, in fact, like sometimes lifts weights also, light weights he does. He does yoga every day. In spite of, I'm like, he's the most busiest man I know of. Like, he's meeting so many people, so many projects and so many courses, so many talks. Like someone who's so busy, in spite of that, he can take time out, knowing the importance of fitness. Yeah. Then what excuse am I giving? Right?
Very true.
So it just gets me out of my bed and pushes me to the gym, go and exercise. No, you exercise today, right? So kind of like, it's because I look up to him. He inspires me to do what I do. In fact, like I remember once he was telling in one of the talks, philosophies, information, books don't inspire people. People inspire people. Yeah. Only people who live as examples can inspire others. So my inspiration has always been Gurudev because like he walks the talk. So somewhere, I like to be that too.
True.
That kind of keeps me pushing.
Nice. On this, I think this will be my last question. How can people reach out to you? I mean, like if I'm very sure that, viewers want to reach out to you. How to reach out to you? How to follow you?
My email ID is mayur.karthik@gmail.com. They can reach out on that, or I'm quite active on Instagram. So I would not say quite active, but yeah. But I do check my Instagram. I post maybe once and suddenly I feel I want to post. I make 4 posts in a month. Then for 2-3 months, I'm not even checking out. But on Instagram, at least I do check my messages.
Okay.
So these are the 2 places.
Perfect.
Reach out.
So Mayur, it was nice having you. I think talking to you, one thing I can tell this for sure that I'm really interested in yoga from very long, and I will definitely start my yoga journey. And in fact, what you said, like because as a professional MMA coach, I think in future, because once I understand the yoga, not like you, but if I understand the yoga, because in today's MMA industry, yoga is used used to get edge. So I think in future we'll put it in a program, and I think it will make our Indian fighters better. Because I've seen that in ancient India, all these warriors and all that, they used to do yoga. It always inspired me, because at one moment they are known to be aggressive. They are into fighting, because fighting is basically chaos. But at the same time, they are very meditative. When I spoke with you, I understood a lot of things. But that's something I have not experienced. But
since you mentioned this, I think something comes to my mind. This is what in the ancient terms we call as the pravriti and nivritti.
Okay.
Pravriti means being 100% in activity. Nivritti means completely withdrawing when you're not in activity.
Okay.
It's a combination of both. Life is a combination of both. Unfortunately, we mix up both.
Okay.
Like when we are doing activity, when we are then, we are not 100% there. The mind is, when will I take a break from this? I want to get free. I want to relax. But when you're relaxing, you're thinking about, when will I get back to work? I have to do so many things.
Very true.
We kind of mix both. I think this is where our tradition, our scriptures, our culture teaches that, both are important, but be there 100%.
Yeah.
Example, like, when you don't sit on the dining table and sleep.
Yes, true.
Right? When you're in washroom, you know what it is for.
Yes.
You don't do other stuff. So the same way, when you are in activity, you be there 100%. Whether it is being a warrior or being a school teacher or being a chef. But when you are withdrawing and relaxing, when you're meditating, when you're doing what we call a sadhana, you're in that space of meditation, be here 100%.
Yeah.
When you learn to do this, then we are in complete balance of life, both material and spiritual. See, unfortunately, people think that people who are spiritual means they hate material things, and some people think those who are material hate spiritual things. There's such kind of things. It's all prejudice. You can have a life where you can balance both material and spirituality, and that's a fulfilling life.